Yes, sir. What's up, guys?
Yes. This DJ will kick the floor in 3, 2, 1.
On the troll.
Hello and welcome to Mzansi. We're back again. It's that time of the night. Just a quick warning before we go on, Emily, and I do not want to labor this for long.
Okay.
But the aim is to just warn our newcomers here. So you simply cannot come to this platform and tell us to reduce our introduction. It's too long and whatnot.
Or to nitpick.
You know, do you understand? This is us. It's like you're finding some people building a house. They are almost done putting a roof, and you come and tell us that this is not how we do it. You know, tendencies.
There's nothing constructive.
That is like literally tendencies of entitlement.
Yeah.
That we do not subscribe to. As much as you also have your time to watch and analyze it yourself, if you're going to come with such, with respect, because we respect the people that we've been here with, please do that and maybe do your own analysis for like 1 minute. It's okay, it's acceptable, it's allowed. There are many people who are doing what we are doing now.
Yeah.
Yes, we started this, there was almost no one doing it. There are many people doing it who feel that they have a way of going about this thing. So here, this is how we do it, and this is how our audience likes it. So if you're going to come and tell us to, or prescribe to us on how to do it now, at this day and age, it's like coming to your baby when they are 20, and you want to tell them how to live their life when you're absent for all these years.
True.
Just respect. If you feel that you do not need to be here, there are many people who are going 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Go to them with pleasure. We are not holding anyone with a firearm here saying that.
No.
And this is not referring to our subscribers who've been here with us and supporting us.
And we actually like how we unpack the details
Thank
of
you.
the case.
But we have those few apples that will just fall out of nowhere. We don't understand
and
where they grew
our
up from.
loyal family members over here at Mzansi Reality give constructive criticism. Constructive. Emphasis on constructive. How is you telling us to keep our intros short? Constructive. If we want to say something, like right now we're spending a couple of minutes addressing people who are coming like monitoring spirits.
Yes. Yes.
So there's no control. We can't predict. We don't have an expectation or a set way of doing things. So days are different. Today is also a different day. So everything is different. So I don't expect comments that really do nothing for this platform to still be coming as if, you know, they're going to make us stop or they're going to make us change. The setup is what it is, you know, and we have been working on it for almost 2 years now, right? It's been 2 years of doing this consistently. So for you to just come and expect us to transform everything after 2 years, where have you been, child?
It's breadwinner tendencies. But
Where
yeah,
have you been?
let's continue, Emil. Just a reminder for those who are here, our subscribers, our viewers, please like the video. And if you are new to this channel, this is how we do it. We don't only tell the truth when it matters, we also tell the truth when it matters to people who are actually here directing. And obviously, we do listen to constructive criticism.
The members are quiet. The members, when they do give a feedback, it's usually constructive. It's something we look at and we're like, okay, maybe we should work on this. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It doesn't come off like there's something you guys must change now or else. No, don't come with that attitude. Otherwise,
we like to have new subscribers, as we have taken about 4 to 5 minutes. We like to have new subscribers, but healthy subscribers. We're not growing a cult here.
No.
We are also not looking for people who are silent, but also we are looking for people who are smart in a sense. Not to say that that person was not smart. Maybe he's smart beyond what we expect. But for our subscribers, this is how we're going to go. We're not changing anything unless, of course, we are told by our subscribers and our members that, guys, please do something like that.
If it can be changed.
If it can be changed, we will listen to it and consider it. But that being said, Emil, let us not waste time to someone who was a bypasser in any case. Just had to be told the way. And if I was rude when I answered, I'm the one who answered, because I don't like such people who just mushroom out of nowhere.
You've never seen a good comment from this person, and out of nowhere they're just like, your introductions are too long. I know. Decorum, please. So yes, today Constable Sizwe Zungu was expected to return to the witness stand when the Senzo Meyiwa trial continued this morning, and he was expected to bring those notes he used to draft his statement. And apparently, allegedly, there have been police officers who were deployed to court to ensure the safety of this particular witness. So, following issues of possible witness intimidation raised last week. So the state said that the notes were shredded and no longer exist anymore. Zungu said he did travel to KZN to look for the notes, and he didn't find them. Which one is it? Were they shredded and destroyed, or what? Which one is it? Were there even notes to begin with that were in KZN? Well, he said he only found a statement.
Look,
that
for
he
me, I don't think
rectified.
he even went to KZN.
I happen to agree.
That's according to me.
Kwakudlalwa ngathi nje.
You can disagree, obviously.
Kwakudlalwa ngathi nje, like it from the announcement. Weird stuff happened today, this morning, and we're just gonna unpack them for you guys. So the judge said that the court believed it would be fair that the court interrogated whether the fact there are two affidavits under oath. The judge said, I requested all the counsels to address me on that. And Baloyi said the witness is talking about the notes and not the statement. Baloyi also said what is in existence is the notes and not the statement. So the witness has finished giving his evidence in chief and has been cross-examined by Sipho Ramosepeli. And the witness mentions that he only had notes that he used to write his statement, and that there were mistakes with regards to the sequence of events and the names of the witnesses, particularly with regard to paragraph 5. He said the name should be submitted with accused number 3's name. He further stated that where the name of Mapisa and Mncube appeared, Mncube's name should be substituted by the name Nkani. Baloyi also quoted other case laws in support of his arguments. By the way, Advocate Baloyi was the only one who prepared arguments for whatever was being argued, because we get to find out later on what the argument actually is. As he started and he went on and on and on, I did not follow what was happening. I could hear, and I know that the judge asked for arguments to be prepared by the defense counsel as well as the state, but he had also mentioned that it might happen somewhere on Tuesday or Wednesday. I didn't expect it to be done immediately on Monday, because on Monday, remember, we were left hanging with issues or regarding the notes, right? So Baloyi was quoting other case laws in support of his argument that Zungu's statement should remain admitted as evidence in court despite the mistakes the witness raised when he was cross-examined by Advocate Ramosepeli. So Baloyi said the witness should be cross-examined on the basis of his statement, and anything else will be subject to credibility findings of the testimony. So in that paragraph, he noted that I noticed Muzisibia Mafiga, Bongani Ntanzi, and Nkani Fisokuhlentuli walking after each other towards Gwabeni's room. He says the name of accused 3 should have been inserted and not that of accused 5. So the defense counsel said that they have not prepared heads of argument.
Rightly so. Look, rightly so. What were they going to argue about?
That is the question, right?
Do you understand?
They were told that this person is going to look for their notes.
Do you understand? And they, in return, they requested that the witness had to go fetch the statement he claimed he made. It was commissioned and it had the signatures of the witness. That was it. So that issue of the notes, which arises just in the minutes, that now we are dealing with the issues of notes and whatnot.
And the notes were brought up because he couldn't bring up the statement that he said he had handwritten himself.
Now they wanted the draft and whatnot.
Now they settled for he said there's a draft and notes. So they settled for that. And still he couldn't produce it this morning. He couldn't produce the notes. And who shredded them if they've been shredded and destroyed?
It was a very interesting choice of words. I mean, you could have said that they are lost.
Why shredded and destroyed? Who did that?
Do you understand? Who does that?
And is it Mr. Zungu who did it himself or the investigative officer? Who exactly shredded the notes?
We are left in a limbo because you cannot ask Zungu because the judge is going to jump in and say, I told this guy to go and look for he could have been killed. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know, a lot of garbage, by the way. Sorry for the words, but if you look at it, I mean, where is this thing taking us?
Frustrating, honestly speaking.
But I'm happy. I'm happy because we sounded like a record that was against this judge. The judge is smart.
Guys,
is going in the right direction.
Some of y'all were like, "No, leave the judge alone. He knows what he's doing."
It took me how many days, Emily, to jump out of that limbo where it was moving. That the judge knows, the judge wants this and that. 3 days. After 3 days.
Consistently people telling you that get off the judge's tail. Get off the judge. Focus on Baloyi. Leave the judge alone. Focus. He's making it difficult. He's making it difficult to not focus on him. That's all I can say. He is the center of attention. Perhaps he never got much attention or he's never handled such a high-profile case where literally most of the nation is interested in. So maybe this is his moment to shine. I don't know. That's my speculation. But he is the center of attention. You cannot ignore him. Yeah, he's unignorable. Even Maumela was better. In my opinion.
I never thought I would say a day where I would say that.
Even I didn't think I would say that Maumela was actually better in presenting a more humble facade. But with this, there's no humility here. There's nothing. Everything is in our face.
Because his mother is Zulu, he understands the language.
Yeah, so we must just... He's making it difficult.
Even though he makes mistakes in terms of that Zulu.
Too much.
Still okay. We must accept that his mother is Zulu, is the judge, my lord, justice, or whatsoever. They call him many words.
Well, Nisi responded. He said he didn't prepare heads of arguments. However, he will stand up and argue. And Zungu, he started off by saying that Zungu mentioned unequivocally that there is a statement that he wrote, a statement that he initialed. He testified this on Friday, guys, under cross-examination with Ramosepeli. So the judge said, so Mr. Zungu says there's a statement. And Mnisi said, yes, my lord. He says he wrote it. It was commissioned and he initialed every page. That's when I asked him that it should be made available. My client then called me to tell me that there is a statement that is actually on the record. Yes, accused number 3 heard correctly. We heard it too. It's on the record that there is a written statement under cross-examination with Ramosepeli on Friday. He did admit that to Zungu.
Then the question is, what was the judge ruling for? What was the ruling for? What did he prepare that ruling for? I mean, You even have guts to say you prepared it on Sunday. What were you preparing?
I prepared it yesterday.
Unless, of course, you have a phone call with Baloyi of what is happening.
Wow, that blew me away.
It's alleged, obviously, but I mean, why would you prepare?
That blew me away that he prepared that judgment so articulate and well researched.
And it's
with
not
cases in it. He prepared it on Sunday before the defense even argued.
You know what worries me even more? It is not saying I will not release this statement. Do you understand?
Yes.
As it was requested.
No.
On Friday. Or I will not release these notes because of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. No, it is dealing with what is currently unfolding in court. And we're talking about Monday. What is unfolding on Monday, the judgment is dealing with that.
It's almost like he predicted what the arguments from the defense were going to be. And this is troubling. For those of you guys who see nothing wrong with this, what if I speculate that the judgment for this entire case is already sitting in his study somewhere? It's just waiting to be signed off. What if?
It sounded like that. Today, what this was showing us is that anything is possible with this case. It could be that the judgment is already there. The judgment is being written as we speak. Whether we are done with 100 and something, it just gave that feeling. I mean, if this guy can predict what is going to happen on Monday, why not predict what will happen when this case finishes? Basically, that's my submission. So if you can predict what is happening as we are deliberating now, we are even heads of arguments are being submitted now, you already have a judgment.
It was rather unsettling. It was very unsettling.
Indeed, he was talking about sangomas and whatnot, but indeed,
it made my
here
heart sick.
this is some sangomarizing that happened. Here, this is like some
Powerful
kind of
stuff.
future telling, and I don't know.
Prophetic things that happened with that judgment. Powerful prophetic things. It's like he could tell that the defense was gonna argue in this direction, and I'm gonna block them by saying this. This is my speculation, of
But
course.
let's just go with the flow so that we don't say.
Then Nisi said that's when the escapade to go to KZN ensued. But we listened to the records and it was confirmed. I'm going to ask the court to consider what Zungu said. We are not requesting notes. The witness says he wrote a statement. Nisi said that he is not accusing the state of unlawfully withholding the original statement. And the judge said if the state has not disclosed the statement, then it means the state has not complied with the law in discovering the statement to you. And Nisi said he says he wrote it and it was commissioned. We only requested the original version. And the judge said, where is it? Acting well surprised. And Nisi said, the state and the witness must know. It is still my submission that before I start with the cross-examination, we should be finished with the statement. And Nisi concluded. Advocate Mshololo also said, I did not prepare arguments, but I will argue, my lord. Mshololo insisted that the court should listen to the records and said that this statement was only disclosed last week, which is causing prejudice. And I agree with her. And I agreed with the statement because you wrote the statement on the 31st of May. The state got to know about it in some time in July, and then they disclosed it to them just last week. They disclosed the statement to the defense counsel just last week. And my question is, if there's already a statement where the identity of the person who made the statement was hidden, why couldn't this be the case with this particular witness from the beginning? You understand what I'm saying? From the time you got it on the 31st of May 2023, Big Putuma, it was urgent, right? But you decided, no, we're going to wait for how many witnesses to testify, and then we're going to tell the defense counsel about it just before. so that they don't have enough time to prepare, in my opinion, you know. And the judge said, but Mr. Baloyi said that there are special circumstances and the witness was threatened with death, and that the reason his name did not appear on the witness list was because he was threatened with death. What proof do we have that
Which got me worried? Because this man...
It's word of mouth.
It's a word of mouth, actually, which is taken, like, I don't know. What worries me about this whole thing is that this man is a policeman. He's threatened, doesn't open the case. And is saying that the reason, for some weird reason, he did not submit his statements in time. 2019, the latest, is because he was afraid that something was going to happen. And just right after we were shown that so-called clip of accused number 5, it's as if Nisi had already started asking questions about the original statement, and then boom, we see things like this.
Yeah, now they have to pull up some footage of trigger signs made by accused number 5, of which I find it quite peculiar because there's so many eyes on this case. How come no one picked it up? It was picked up. I mean, people watch that case, okay? So it would have, someone would have.
Continue. There's a lot to unpack.
But it's really weird. And he said his name did not appear on the witness list because he was threatened with death. And that is why the statement was taken on the 31st of May. And Advocate Mshololo said that handwritten statement ought to have been accompanied by the original statement to which the witness has referred. We all know statements should have been attached as a practice. She even disclosed that as a prosecutor, we've all been prosecutors before. You have to have a written statement accompanied with a typed one. You know, that's the procedure that Abum Shololo are used to. And however, it did not happen like that with this particular witness. So Mshololo then said, accused number 5 is prejudiced. You know, Mr. Anonymous, it even happened with the father, or the so-called alleged testimony or statement from that speaks of the father, that speaks of Zungu's father. It even had a written statement with a typed statement. However, when it came to Zungu, his does not have such. It only has that type statement that's full of many errors. And Mshololo said accused number 5 is prejudiced by this non-disclosure of the statement. My submission is that accused number 5 will suffer prejudice if that statement is not made available. And the judge said that's why I made an order that this witness should go and fetch the notes and correspondence from KwaZulu-Natal. The witness says he found nothing in KZN. And Zungu said, my justice, I've never made any statement until the 31st of May. So the judge said, before the 31st, did anyone ever made any statement? And Zungu said, no. Have you ever sworn in front of anyone or a magistrate that you swear the contents of any statement before the 31st of May? And Zungu said, no. This man was saying he was writing notes on newspapers, receipts and stuff, right? That's what he was saying. And then he says there was a written statement. And then now he's saying, no,
he just came
actually,
with newspapers. Actually.
I typed it on the 30, or I was narrating and someone was typing on the 31st of May. So they're just going to let him slide. Okay. So the judge said, as a police officer, have you ever made a statement where someone gives a statement under oath and have them append their signatures? And Zungu said, yes, I have done that. So the judge said, so you know what a statement is. Okay, so Judge Ratham Khwatleng made a ruling on the defense's contention that there is a handwritten statement by the witness. This was the argument. Was this argument on Friday?
No.
On Friday, he said they should prepare arguments about the situation regarding the statement.
And that was it.
And that was it. Now he's saying that he has a ruling. He has already made a ruling on the contention that there is a handwritten statement by the witness. This tells you that he already received the information that the notes were not there, which the defense did not receive. It seems like him and the state are the only people who receive such information, because they were able to come to an argument that there is no handwritten statement by the witness, which the defense was waiting to find out about this morning. Okay? Constable Zungu said, which the defense says was not disclosed by the state. So Mr. Baloyi is accused of harboring a statement which he has not disclosed, which is a serious offense, and he could be struck off the roll. You know, when he was reading that judgment, it felt more like he was defending the state prosecutor.
Yeah. You first tell us about what could happen to Baloyi. We don't care. We don't care at this point in time.
He took.
We believe that Baloyi should be for the truth in terms of what happened to Senzo and what not. We believe that.
Yeah.
Whether he believes that, it remains to be seen. I'm not going to say he doesn't. I'm not going to say he does. It remains to be seen. That's what we are looking at, because if you talk about someone defending the witnesses, I'm seeing the elements of that. I'm not an attorney. I'm none. But what I'm seeing there, it tells me otherwise. I don't know.
It's depressing. It's depressing. And he said in that judgment, every prosecutor knows he has to disclose any information pertaining to the case. And he said, I do not think that Mr. Baloyi would risk his entire career. I don't know what he would gain.
That's emotional submissions that we do not care about right now.
It is not his duty to defend anyone. His duty is to bring the case before the court to adjudicate. It's a truism and trite in the law that a prosecutor's duty is to seek conviction at all costs. His duty is to bring a case before the court. If he thinks it's his duty to seek conviction, then he doesn't know his duty. Even if there is a statement that brings contradictions to the state's case, he has the duty to bring such information before the court. Then why are you not telling him that? Why are you not telling him to bring that information before the court? Why are you just accepting the statement that is typed with a lot of errors and not questioning the validity of it? Why? So these are the exceptions, like when important information may be revealed or when the witness's life may be put in danger and the court needs to weigh that information, and the defense must present a prima facie argument of entitlement to such information. This is not the case in this instance. Mr. Baloyi says he does not have a written statement. When did he disclose this to you, Mr. Ratam? Judge Ratam, when did he disclose that? Because I don't remember him disclosing it on Friday. Do you, Mr. Anonymous? Do you remember Mr. Baloyi saying that there's no written statement? Did he say that, guys? Did I miss it?
No, he didn't.
Mr. Zungu, I agree he may have stated that he has made a statement, but today, here and now, I have asked Mr. Zungu if he has made a statement. If he's not a lay person, he's a police officer, and he says he has not made any statement other than on the 31st of May. Now, there are some other issues that he raised in his judgment, okay? And he said Mr. Baloyi, who's an officer of the court, tells this court that he has told his colleagues that he does not have a written statement by this witness, Mr. Zungu. Mr. Zungu, I agree, may have stated that he has made a written statement, but today now I have asked Mr. Zungu, pertinent, who is a police officer, he is not a lane person, whether he has made a written statement which he has disposed to under oath and signed, and he said none. The only statement he has disposed is the statement that he made on the 31st of May 2023 before Colonel Ginanda, and it was typed by Mrs. Sitlogelo. Therefore, a fundamental difference between a police statement and a witness statement. The imputation by the defense is that the state has refused to hand in and disclose the written statement. So for me, in my opinion, guys, this was really shady because he says he wrote this judgment on Sunday. He spent the morning listening to Mnisi and Mshololo make their arguments without even bothering to listen to the record. Right? And this was very strange because if you didn't know any better, you'd speculate that perhaps even the state was there when he was drafting and crafting this judgment. It's weird. And it maybe Zungu was even there. That's my speculation. I mean, what is happening? Why does it seem like the defense is on another train and the state and the judge and Zungu are on another one? So he also included that they say that the judge is interfering in his judgment. He says he is given the right to interfere because he understands the language as a judge. Now he's saying that as a judge, he's a black man and he's not an Englishman. So he said, I listen, and when interpretation is not apt, I intervene.
Are you on a judgment?
Yes, I'm on the judgment. These are some of the other things that he brought up that really made me dizzy. I'm like, what has your conduct?
What was Baloyi's submissions?
I started with them.
Because I'm looking here, his heads of arguments is that he requested, he was arguing as if he's arguing against the statements, and then from there he moved to notes.
Yes, he did.
Maybe that's why I'm confused, but continue.
And now I'm on the Judge Ratam Khwatleng's judgment.
Okay.
So at some point he said, you also intervene. At some point, I'm like, he also intervenes when the witnesses are testifying. But what can we do? What can we say? He says he's got a right. As long as he understands the language, he can interfere. He also said that there's legal precedence in the court that if a judge understands the language of the witness and if there's an interpretation, he can fill it up. Yeah. This I don't agree with. But we move. Also included that some of the accused intimidated the witness. Now, in my head, I'm like, I don't understand what this has to do with the written statement Zungu said he wrote and has backtracked to say that he never wrote that statement and only wrote the typed one. He was speaking now and they were typing. And he came ready with amendments today in court. So he literally went in with a pen to fix the mistakes on the statement that was typed. So the judge also blamed Mr. Mnisi for saying that there was a statement before his cross-examination. He said that he does not think that Mr. Baloyi did not disclose that written statement. If Mr. Baloyi, at the risk of his career, would not disclose such a statement, so it looks like his mind was already made up before the argument, and this is quite troubling. So there's no further particularity that he saw, and that in so-and-so's office by Colonel so-and-so. So yeah, literally in his judgment, he was blaming the defense for asking for the written statement, in my opinion. So he said, we cannot prove the existence of this document. If there's no written statement upon which Mr. Mnisi has to base his cross-examination, this court will obviously hold that it may not give that evidence not to be introduced under the cloak of cross-examination. So a judicial officer should not only be impartial, but he has to have been impartial, or not to be seen as impartial. So he's saying the judicial officer, that's himself, by the way, speaking about himself, should not only be impartial, but should also not be seen as not being impartial. So the question is he impartial? Okay, from our observation as laymen, is he impartial or not? The perception through the conduct of the court should not be created that the presiding officer takes over the role of the prosecutor. But the right of the presiding officer to question any accused to clarification or the question a witness in clarification is manifestly limited to elucidation or clarification of the evidence presented. Mr. Anonymous, yes, I felt like he used this opportunity to address some of the issues that the public has generally with his conduct. It was no longer about the written statement and the typed statement. It was about him now. Mr. Anonymous.
Yeah, it sounded like it was him.
I'm like, the entire judgment on the second statement by the witness that is handwritten is based on him justifying his behavior, shielding the state from any accountability or responsibility as to how and where the statement was written. Instead, he's seen fighting the battles of the state and asking for that clarity before the arguments this morning, knowing very well that you have written your judgment on Sunday. So everything that he was doing this morning was in accordance and in support of the written judgment, trying to justify that judgment that he ruled. So the judge said that the defense cannot prove the existence of this handwritten statement. After all, that is, this court finds that no written statement exists. That was his judgment. Ukuthi yena and his conduct of interfering with the witnesses ingenaphi. Ukuthi Advocate Baloyi's so-called conduct of not being transparent enough with the ingenaphi, I don't know. But somehow he squeezed it in there on Sunday so that he could come here and make it clear to us that he's not interfering, while he is, in my opinion. So yeah, Mr. Anonymous, what were your overall thoughts with regards to Judge Ratamkwatleng's judgment? Did it break your heart like it broke mine?
No, I wouldn't say my heart was broken.
Mine was
I kind
broken.
of anticipated what was coming. I was just expecting it. What I was interested in, I think on my side, was what Baloyi filed in terms of his heads of argument that he was rushing to file, where he talked about the cases, where he talked about what the defense should be. He was also he's also submitted that according to whatever section 32, that even the what is it, the pocketbook that these police go with, move with,
and
and
a diary at some point.
it should be a courtesy of the judge whether you get to see that or in court or not, which to me sounded like is to prevent the asking of such when the other police come.
He didn't have a choice when it came to Musia. He did not have a choice. Let us not pretend like he had one. If he wasn't going to bring that pocketbook, he was going to look very, very dodgy.
But they have a leg to stand on right now to say that if they don't want it to be seen by when the next
the onus
police
is on
come.
the state to prove the case against these 5 accused.
We have seen how they prove the case. This is how they prove the case.
With word of mouth and nothing concrete, nothing tangible.
They write their statements on Sundays and they come with them, and it's like now they make the defense look unprepared, and it makes sense why the defense was not prepared there. I wouldn't blame them in anyhow.
What were they supposed to
I was
prepare?
not gonna prepare too. I was not gonna.
What were they supposed to
I was not
prepare?
gonna entertain this whole thing too, because why should I entertain it? Why should I entertain something that is already wasting my time, and I'm still to hear what is an outcome of that person? What if I prepare and that person comes in? What would be the point of preparing? What am I preparing? Am I preparing that this thing should be admissible in court? Or am I preparing that they couldn't find this thing how is that prejudice?
Prejudice.
Yeah, that's the way that tongue to my client.
Prejudice to the client.
You know.
They are very much prejudiced, Shem.
So
I'm not afraid to
there
say
was a
it
lot
is
of
what
things
it
that
is.
was happening in
They're
that
put
court.
at a disadvantage. No one can prepare when it comes to the defense properly. No one is given adequate
And the judge,
resources
for
and
me,
time.
the judge was just putting these things by force. It sounded like he's saying, this is what I'm judging at. Whether you requested for something else, but I'm judging at this. And you put that thing, you, Mnisi, and your client, you submitted that.
Yeah, when
it's
he
not
said
the record, it's not anything that. So there was an argument and there was a disrespect that I see with the judge when it comes to Mnisi. But Mnisi.
He said Mnisi's client, accused number 3, is the one who's saying that there's a written statement, while he refused to listen to the record and then come back and say, yes, I know it says that in the record, but now he wanted to pin it on Mnisi and accuse number 3 to say that they are the ones who have said that there was a written statement when the record says so under cross-examination with the advocate, is it state attorney Ramosipele. Okay, so that was very, very troubling and worrisome. And if you missed it, guys, hey,
Just
that
to give
really
my 2 cents
gave me the
on-
heebie-jeebies.
Just to give my 2 cents, I do not think this judge should recuse himself.
What do you think must happen now?
He must continue. He must continue.
Can I be honest and frank about the fact that maybe it's time? We are always judged and looked at upon like we don't like our own. But perhaps this case needs a judge of no color. Perhaps, because what I'm seeing with those kind of judges is nothing like what I'm experiencing with this one. I've never seen anything like this. It's totally embarrassing.
He must continue. He must continue. We cannot have... The main purpose was never this case in any case. We want 375. At least I'm more leaning toward 375 seeing the day in court. He must continue. He must finish, because now if we push for this one
It's going to be another de novo.
We're going to know, and what you guys are not noticing, the state takes a full advantage of that de novo. It fine-tunes the statements and everything comes in now like a bit of a truth. So every time you go de novo,
more time for them to
there's
craft
more
something.
time for them to change and chop and change in their statements. Whatever the statements that now are here, we might hear that this man is no longer going to be there to testify. So it's okay. Let us continue. He will judge whatever that he wants to judge, because seemingly, obviously, we are most of us, at least most of us who are following this case, were anticipating I would say a negative outcome, in a sense that the defense is not given a chance. But let him shoot himself.
Okay. All right.
On a foot. It's okay.
It's painful to watch.
I mean, where can we go now? What should we do now? Because we are from that situation, and seemingly anyone, anywhere in South Africa can be reached. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So you change, you bring a judge of no color, maybe it makes matters worse. Let us leave this one who has been on the throat of the defense. Let us see where this one is taking us. Let us finish with him. I want to see something.
Well, Advocate Mnisi was instructed by the judge to say that he can now start with his cross-examination. However, Mnisi communicated that Ramosipele wanted to address the court on some of the issues. So Ramosipele said that he was instructed by accused 1 and 2 to travel all the way to the northwest to consult with some of their relatives. He was even given a phone number and a couple of phone numbers to call in order to further pursue the evidence that was given in court on Friday. He opened to further reopen his cross-examination before Mnisi started with his. So Ramasipili asked, what was the special occasion for Gwabini to call you to come to Vosloorus hostel where he resided? And Zungu said to answer, I also don't know. I also wish to get the answer as to what I was called for. So what he's saying is that he just got a phone call to come and he just vumbukad and go without asking any questions basically as to what the event was, what was it about. He just flew. In fact, he flew so much that he just entered. By 7:45, he was getting ready for work, and by 1 o'clock, somehow he was at Carlton Center. So Ramasipili asked, on your statement, you say that accused number 2 is your cousin. Is that still your assertion? And Zungu said, I think if he says he's my cousin, I say he's my cousin by birth. He is family. I explained that my grandmother is his grandmother. When we say grandmother is ntanzi. So if he says he's not ntanzi, then I won't argue with that. Ramasipili said,
Guys, thank you for donations. Thank you with your donations. I see them coming. Isaiah, there's someone who donated first, and then now I see Pretty Lady. Thank you, guys. There's about 3, I think, people who have donated here.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
If I'm not mistaken.
Dimakat or who else?
Yeah, it's 3.
Okay, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. So Ramasipili then said he doesn't dispute at all that he's in ntanzi. In fact, he confirms that your father and his father are cousins. Your comment. And Zungu said, that's how I know it as well. And the witness was kind of laughing undertone. Him like, what's funny? Ramasipili then said, but however, he does not know your father and he does not know the grandmother that you are speaking about because he was born in 1990. So the people are too old for him to know. And the judge said, what does that mean? How does he know that his father is his father's cousin? No, it must make sense for this court. Then Ramasipili said, after your testimony here, that's why he sent me to phone around. That's when he was advised through me that the grandmother, he does not know. He learned that from his brother, Njabulise Ntanzi, who will come and verify that in this court. And also Zweletini Ntanzi, who will say he does not know the grandmother. Then Zungu said, I don't know whether you heard yourself when you said his father and my father are cousins. So I don't know whether Gogo passed away last year. What I'm supposed to do if Gogo passed away without him knowing her as he was young. Then Ramasipili said, without compromising your safety, can you tell us where you grew up? Because where you grew up, you didn't grow up with accused number 2. And some of his brothers that I have mentioned, in Jabuliseni and Zweletini, I was kind of annoyed with Ramasipili not having learned how to pronounce those names. Please learn how to pronounce them names. It's important so that you look proper, Then Zungu said, maybe if you go back, just like you said, you wanted to fix my statement. Where Uzungu? Maybe if you go back, just like you said, you wanted to fix my statement. I said some of them, I grew up with them and left them at home. Growing up with them does not mean I grew up with them like this, but same area where they say my father came from. So it means they know where my home is and I know where their home is. So that does not mean that you know each other, sir. Okay. Them knowing your home, you knowing their home, does not mean that you grew up together. Why are you trying to pin yourself into growing up together with them so much and they're denying you? It's weird. Then Ramasipili said, before the day of the incident of the 26th of October 2014, did you ever meet accused number 2 before? And Zungu said, yes, I saw him back home. Meaning exactly where, and the judge interfered again and said, must he disclose exactly where he sleeps so that he must be killed? I thought you were considerate and did not want him to disclose his whereabouts because of his safety being compromised. Now, what I don't understand is why is it a problem to disclose past locations, Mr. Anonymous? Why is it a problem to disclose past locations? Not current ones.
Look, I really don't know. I also thought of that. I did not get an answer. I guess you can trace him. You can go ask his ancestors that he left there. And maybe they will tell you where he is.
Jail. They're detained. What is going on with this case?
No, he's saying that there are people outside who can do it. That's what he said.
Do you believe him?
Look, if anything, if
what
the judge
proof does he have that that's the case?
If the judge believes him, what we have learned is that it goes. So we've got to.
The fact that a so-called assassination attempt did not even have a case number.
Yeah, it did not.
Ramosepele then said, so the version I must put to you is that accused number 2 says he's never met you before and he's only seen you last week when you came to testify. And Zungu said, so there was a laugh. I don't know whether it came from the judge or Zungu, but there was a very disturbing laugh as I was listening. And Zungu said, if you are deserted and abandoned by relatives, at times you must just accept it. Abandoned and deserted. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
What mdeni? What is he talking about? Because you wouldn't do this to your family. Then Ramosepele said accused number 2 further denies that he knew or he knows who Gwabini is. And Zungu said, how? May I not comment because I'm thinking of family. Accused number 1 raised his hand at this point and Ramosepele attended him. And when he came back, he said, accused number 2 says he hasn't met you and has never grown up with you. In fact, he's 4 years younger than you. And Zungu said, when you said on Friday that you were withdrawing the question on whether we knew each other, I accepted that. Not sure if you're
guys,
going
let us
back
like
there.
the video. We are on 1,000 people here. Can you please like the video? So that we also get recommended, because maybe that's why even my energy is down. Let us continue, guys. Let us like the video. I see that many of you are asking you about my energy, but like the video also.
Encourage Mr. Anonymous with them likes. Please. Not sure if you're going back there. Yes, they were young, younger than me. That's what Uzungu said. Well, he's troubled by going back to this question, but then Ramosepele had to remind him that it's with regards to accused number 1. Now we're talking about accused number 2. So Ramosepele then said, you say when you arrived at Gwabeni's place, you spoke about homeboys. Who did you refer to? And Zungu said it was not only Muzi or Mafika or the other 3 gentlemen. There were many other people from back home. I just didn't want to start mentioning people's names without a reason. Why not? Why not? Then Ramosepele said, you proceed further that you didn't need to be introduced to accused 1 and 3 because you saw them regularly. And Zungu said, yes. Ramosepele asked, how often? And Zungu said, I would see Muzi at home about accused number 3. Gwabini was reminding me about Gadla or Carlos because I knew him as Buthelezi. Ramosepele asked, accused number 1 still stands that he only met you in Tembisa when you were in the company of Gwabini for the first time in 2018 or 2019? And then the judge said, sorry, are you aware of what you are saying? So here the judge kind of assumed that Tembisa was the place of the incident. Ramosepele had to remind him that the area of the incident was Vosloorus, not Tembisa. Then Zungu said, I won't argue with him, but I was with him in Vosloorus, and I lifted or
Who was
dropped.
shot by the Gwabini guy?
Ooh, I forget the name. It's Sinako, yes.
He's saying that there was not only them there, there was also Snako was there. Is that the same Snako? Because I'm hearing on Facebook the sister is so sad about this, saying that Snako's sister, who claims to be Snako's sister, is saying that his brother, even today, there's no accountability of what happened to him.
So he passed on.
He passed on. So I'm trying to find the name Snako and Snako Sbia, right? Because the sister is Sbia.
This is a mess. Well, in 2013, he was residing at Basotweni Hostel. He didn't stay outside, so there would be no need for you to go and drop him somewhere if that's your evidence. And Zungu said, I think that which I have said would be enough, but I dropped Muzi on that day. So what is happening here, according to accused number 1, after giving Ramasipili instructions, he's saying that he lived at Basotweni Hostel up until March 2013. And then he went back home because he had lost his employment, right? And then he came back to Johannesburg at 2015. That's what he's saying. And by the recollections, before he got arrested, he was residing in Tembisa.
Yeah.
So he stayed there up to 2013 March. Then he came back in 2015 according to Ramasipili's instructions. So Ramasipili said accused 1 and 2 deny that they were at a party at the hostel at Gwabini's party on the 26th of October 2014. And Zungu said, I won't dispute if they are denying it. What I'm saying is that they were there and I saw them, and I also wish to know why I was called to be there. So Ramasipili asked, are you saying that accused number 1 and 2 contacted you? And Zungu said, no. Gwabini is the one who contacted me. And Ramasipili said, you testified before you started drinking that the pistol was on you, and it was only when you started drinking that you gave your pistol to Gwabini. And Zungu said, yes. Asked about him handing his pistol bare without it being covered in any bag or anything like that to Gwabini, while his statement says that he handed the gun inside the bag with the keys. Zungu said that he had to show Gwabini the gun first before giving it to him. He did not want to say hear that his firearm or hand it over with the bag inside it. It was very important to him that he sees the firearm. He sat a long time with the bag outside. He also said that when they went to Tops, there were 5 in an Uno. However, in his statement, he says he went out to shops to buy some alcohol drinks with a certain lady. So explaining that inconsistency, okay, because now in the statement, Mr. Anonymous, did you pick that part up where he said that he went out to some store to buy drinks with a certain lady?
Yeah, I did.
While explaining that inconsistency, Zungu said that in his statement, he went to buy at Tops, and when he came back, he went out with a lady who went to buy close by, and then they came back from Tops. So the lady requested him to buy a drink for her. That's what he says. So he says he went to Tops with the friends in an Uno, came back, and then went to some close by place with this lady to buy a drink for her, and then came back. Ramasipili then said, I put it to you that this one is of going out to buy alcohol with a lady is a new addition. You did not mention it in your evidence in chief. And Zungu said, perhaps I was not asked if there was a lady I went out with. Now this reminded me of Dumelo and Togo. It reminded me of how they testify. I was like, yeah, this sounds like that record. I've heard this record before. So regarding his statement where he said he saw Ngani, accused number 5, with a 9mm pistol, while he said Mtobisi, accused number 3, in his evidence in chief, Ramasipele asked, if you are sitting with a typist in front of you, typing what is coming out of your mouth, why would the typist, if they want to say Mtobisi gadla mncube, write Ntuli? Because it comes from your mouth. She listens to you and what you are saying to her. And Zungu said they wrote their names how they wanted to write them. Gadla and Nkani, it's a mistake of names. The one you are trying to make as if it's a problem, it's not really a problem. These names, there's no problems with these names. It's just that these names have been misplaced. Instead of Gadla, the name of Nkani was used. That's the only problem. Ramasipele said he doesn't understand. Then the judge said, what don't you understand? He's explaining. Ramasipele said, I need him to explain because my Lord will ask me whether I understand myself. So let me hear from him. You say something about the spacing, the names. You are saying the names as, and then the judge said he's saying that the typist confused the names, Gadla Vonkani. Are you saying that, sir? And Zungu said, correct, my justice. Now he started again, this judge, with putting words into Zungu's mouth. It was very important that he answers for himself how such a mistake can happen. Because you are a typist. I'm a typist. I'm imagining myself. I'm listening to this person is testifying. Now this person is telling me that Gadla entered the room. And somehow I write Nduli enters the room. How does that happen? How? How does that happen? That is what we are trying to understand here. And the judge is getting in the way of that. He doesn't want it to be pursued. Like a truck in the middle of the road. There's no way to go now because he is speaking on behalf of Zungu when it comes to that. And there's still people who think he's doing a good job. So in my opinion, that is a lie. How can a typist be confused when they're being told what to type and listening to you narrate your story? How does that happen? That I know. The only thing that they are typing with their head, the only time that they would make such mistakes is if they are typing from their own head, right? When they're typing, trying to remember what was said, not as they are listening to what you are saying. The chances of that happening are very slim, especially if you are saying that you've backtracked, you don't have a written statement. So he says that he was handed a copy of the statement after it was done being typed. He read it at home and noticed that there are inconsistencies. He says he could not tell Colonel Gininda about the discrepancies because for safety reasons, they did not meet every now and then. What happened to a phone call, sir? What happened to picking up your phone and calling and saying there's a mistake, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Then after that, he saw his notes and let them know that there was a problem. Again, he brings these notes up. The notes that he could not find, right? He's bringing them up again. For what reason? I don't know. Then he said by then they were calling him to consult the advocate. That's when he fixed those mistakes. But he did not fix those mistakes. He only fixed them over the weekend. Let that sink in. He fixed them over the weekend. He did not fix them at his first meeting or so-called meeting with the state advocate. The state advocate, Mr Baloyi, still handed in the typed statement with the mistakes. Ramasipele then said, at the time you made the statement, you were under witness protection. And Zungu said, no. This is very interesting. When were the death threats made? The so-called death threats. When did they happen? According to his testimony on Friday. Didn't he say sometime 2018, 2019?
Yeah, I said so.
And now today, 31st of May, is when he wrote his statement in 2023, and he was still not under witness protection. That's very interesting. So he says he wasn't under witness protection when he wrote his statement.
And the judge saying that he could have been running away from that. That's why he's not on the state's list of witnesses, which does not make sense. I mean, either way, this person says already around 2018 there was these threats already. So if that was the case, why didn't he put his statement down there and then you guys protect him forever then until the time he comes to testify? Because either way, he was not safe.
No, he was not. And remember, we had like a prior trial to this de novo situation. There's no mention of this witness. And it's a very crucial witness. That is the only witness so far who could place the 5 accused, all of them, on the day of the incident.
And the coincidence is that he's related to some of them.
So this means that he only went under witness protection quite recently. That's what it means. So Ramasipili then asked, you say you saw accused number 1, Hen Gwabini as 38 special. Zungu said, let's fix it so that they don't say I said Gadla. You were talking about Muzi, accused number 1. Ramasipili said, you further testified that as you walk into the room, something was faulty with the lights. And Zungu said, okay, he changed his statement again. This time around, he said, I said when I approached the room, he switched off the lights, Gwabini, not with the intention, but he said, here comes Babu Mngani, paternal uncle. Then he said it was like the light went off. Not that I was following them. They did not notice that I was following them, but Gwabini saw me that I was following them. When they entered, I also entered. I arrived nicely as the action was happening. Gwabini then saw that he could not stop me. Then hence he tried switching off the lights.
Yeah.
Now Gwabini is switching off the lights.
Yeah.
It wasn't faulty. Now it's wishy-wishy yaga Zungu. And I don't know why. Maybe they had a conversation with him over the weekend, allegedly. We don't know that. Ramasipili then said, my instructions from accused number 2 about a part in your statement where you say you saw him change hoodies on that night. He says that never happened. And Zungu said it did happen. Ramasipili then said, and you say that accused number 1 said he asked if you heard that Senzo was no more. And Zungu said, I wouldn't be able to say much if the one who said that was his copy. In his statement, he contacted General Leshabani the end of 2018, beginning of 2019. That's what he testified. He gave him 2 names, Muzi and Mafika. That's accused number 1 and accused number 2. He says he didn't give him the picture. He showed him the pictures of Muzi and Mafika. He had the pictures in his phone. He sourced them from Gwabini's phone.
What got me is that he says he never introduced the name Carlos.
Yes.
And who introduced that name, Carlos? If really this is your statement and you were writing the statement and you're saying you never called Tobani, right? Mm-hmm. Carlos. Mthokozis, Carlos. Then who brought that name? Who brought that nickname? I don't know whether it's a nickname or what. Who brought it? Because you never brought it. Don't you find it funny that in your statement there is a name that is linking Mthokozisi, but as Carlos?
And you are saying you never said it. You said Gadla. Then what is it doing in your statement? It appears more than once.
Then who wrote the statement?
Who wrote the statement? Good question.
Who was bringing his Excel was just Word was just bringing these names randomly.
I doubt it. No.
And it happens that these are names that are used as their nickname or whatever that you might call it.
Well, apparently in the court they demonstrated a picture of a navy blue cap and jersey facing next to a red car with two gentlemen.
Yeah, someone is saying
on the
Stein
opposite
called
side.
him Carlos.
Stein even called him Carlos.
Yes.
He did. Colonel Stein called him Carlos. So Zungu then said, what will my comment be because I wasn't there? They also came with the same picture to me. Ramasipile then said, who came with the picture to you? And Zungu said, the investigating officer. They didn't tell him who the people were.
See?
They showed me the picture.
Slowly, but the truth is going to come out. You see, the problem with this thing, if indeed, as we think, please subscribe, we think that is, if it is a cover-up, what is happening now, these people, without knowing, they are collaborating the stories of the accused. The accused said they came with a picture of, which is ntanzi, right?
Yes.
With a picture of Mapisa to them, and they beat the hell out of him, and they wanted him to admit that that was him. This guy says they came with a picture to me too. So isn't it kind of now raising eyebrows? Don't we need to start questioning
Suspicious.
as to who does that? Who's this person who just comes with a picture of some people and then they start mooring you?
To admit that you know these people.
Now two people are saying they came with that picture to me too.
Asked whose Piva Buhle's beer is, the general informed him that there's someone related to them in the
Piva
taxi
Buhle's beer of
industry.
Teddy's.
Is Piva Buhle's beer. There was a mention of a particular somebody, even on Friday, this Buhle's beer was mentioned.
This is an uncle of Ntogozis,
Yeah.
right? And Ntogozis' surname is what?
Ntogozi's surname is Mngube.
Ngube.
So they're saying he was affiliated with the taxi industry. And Gutiwa, he passed away. But on Friday, he was talking. I remember even commenting on it, guys. Like, he was talking as if this beer is still alive. It was so strange, that part of the testimony, where I found it to not be making any sense at all. So now today, Ramasipili brought it up again. And he says he doesn't know when he passed away. Ramasipili said, accused.
He says he knows that he passed away, but he doesn't know when.
He passed away. This is Zungu. So on Friday, he went on and on testifying about this particular individual, and it didn't make sense then. And to find
all
out
these people that
now
is
he's saying he passed
actually
away.
testifying about the guy that I've just mentioned here apparently is
no more.
This one, I think the only one that we need to find out is whether
It's Gwabi.
Gwabini is still alive.
And is he safe? Is he still alive?
No, we do. I don't even want to cast aspersions that is safe or whatnot. I just want to know if he's still alive.
Gwabeni is the one who is closer to the accused. So Ramasipili asked, accused number 1 will deny that he implicated his uncle in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. So this Piva's beer, Buhle's beer, is accused number 1's uncle, Mr. Anonymous. The one who's said to have passed away. It's accused number 1's uncle.
Hey, accused number 1's uncle.
Yes, who's beer as well.
But they said Tellez. Isn't it they said Tellez?
I think that's another one. That's another individual.
The taxi owner or something like that.
I can't quite recall who Buthelezi is, but it's another individual. Then Zungu said he was not saying it to me. He was saying it to someone else. He never said it to me. Then Ramasepeli said accused number 1 says he has never attended any wedding and he denies saying what you are saying. He said that at the wedding. And Zungu said he was there at the wedding and he spoke to me. Then there was an adjournment for lunch and the Pretoria High Court after lunch learned that Major General Shedrick Sibia was allegedly involved in the Senzo Meyiwa investigation while he was fired from the SAPS. This was brought up by the lawyer for accused number 1 and 2, who's Sipora Mosepeli, during cross-examination of the state witness. And I had even forgotten this, guys. For those who don't know who General Shedrick Sibia is...
We talked about it. What were Hawks doing there? And then this man went to even Netflix. He said to explain that he was not involved, right?
Yes.
He was not involved and whatnot. And you can go check him out. He's saying he was not involved and whatnot. But here we come now. We are hearing that he was part of the people that were present when some statements or some submissions were made.
In 2019, 2018, this is when this case started to be for the accused 1 to 5. This is this around that time. And he was there setting up meetings now with Zungu, and he was no longer a member of the SAPS for that time. Let it sink in.
He was suspended, to say it is, right?
Fired. He was fired.
And he took them to court to come back, right?
Yes, he
As
took
he's
them
back
to court.
now.
We did a video on it talking about it.
To Nandipa.
Now he's a lead of investigators over there at the Bloemfontein. The investigators that are presiding over the Besta and Nandipa case. He's there now.
Mm-hmm.
We also did a video on it, guys. You can scroll down and look for it, okay? Ramasepeli then said, at the time of this meeting in 2019, General Sibia was fired from the SAPS. He was only reinstated in 2020. And Zungu said, I heard that after that time of this meeting, Sibia was a civilian, saying Ramasepeli, and not an officer of the SAPS. Sibia told you that the information that you relayed to the police was correct and accurate. As a civilian, how would he have known that information is correct? And Zungu said, I wouldn't know how he knew, but what I knew is that he was a police officer at the time. Sibia then asked who the investigative officer was, and you said Gininda. But Sibia said Makubo should come to the meeting so he could have the information you gave to the police. You also state that Sibia asked Lishabani and he provided the name of Gininda and that Warrant Officer Makubo should also come to that meeting. And Zungu said yes. Ramasepeli said, you said Makubo said you are lying and that there's no evidence that Fisogu Hlentuli was there. And Zungu said yes. Ramasepeli said, furthermore, Makubo disputed your information that accused 5 was not involved in the killing of Meyiwa as well as other suspects. Zungu said, yebo. Ramasepeli then said, who are those suspects? And Zungu said, accused 1 and 2. Now, he says he didn't know that Warrant Officer Makubo and Colonel Joyce Buthelezi were working on another docket, which was 375. Ramasepeli then asked, in your meeting with Colonel Buthelezi, they also told you that you were trying to protect the people who were in the house and Kelly Kumalo, and that they had information that the shooter was one of the people who were inside that house. And Zungu said, that's what Colonel Buthelezi said. Ramasepeli then said, what was your reaction? And Zungu said, I took it that maybe she was an investigating officer. He was only... And then Ramasepeli brought up a very important point that this Zungu guy was the only junior, a constable at the time, meeting with generals and stuff. Bringing a family member to prove that the suspects were known to him, they told him to bring him. He never brought him at the time that they were speaking to him. So he's saying that to prove his allegations against accused 1 to 5, they had asked him to bring a family member who can validate that indeed he does know the accused 1 to 5. And he says that he didn't bring that person.
Yes.
Ramasipili then said, did you, as a police officer, open a case of attempted murder, intimidation, threats, and the likes in respect to this aspect of your testimony? And Zungu said, no, I did not.
But there is a point where he said, they said I must come with my father, and he specified. They said I must come with him.
My father.
And I find that funny. Reason being, this man claims that he does not know, that he did not know that his father could have had a statement before where he narrates that the brother was the one who actually, which is the father of what?
Ntanzi. Accused number 2.
willy-nilly in Durban, right? Told the story of Ntanzi being involved in Senzo's killing. And then he said, I'll tell my son is a policeman. See, this is a sign that even the way he's saying it, the father, they didn't know this son, because they should have known that the son is a policeman. Right?
Yes.
And it worries me that the father would say that I'll tell my son who's a policeman. In what capacity? You are hearing that someone could have committed crime, and you say you tell your son who's a police, what, to report to other police or to remove the case? Well, what was it?
What was it?
What were you telling? What were you gonna tell your son about? That's worrying.
Eesh.
But to specifically choose the father to come and testify, isn't this a certain tendency of saying that maybe this could have been plan A, but we're gonna use you to cement? Because remember, the so-called friend of Ntanzi, to me, was the foundation layer. And then this guy was going to come and finish up. Now, because of whatever reason that happened with this, the judge is claiming today that he was threatened. I think he would have to come and say that to himself, if he was threatened by people that he said they are happy to see him.
Yes.
Which is worrisome. I mean, that's why those are the hints that, I mean, this judge keeps on giving us. I mean, already you are saying that that evidence that that man gave of that the police said, you are discarding it in a sense by saying that it was actually because he was threatened. Already this sounded like that. I mean, you didn't even ask the guy if we are threatened or not in court. It's not in record, but in your mind that guy was threatened. So what judgment are you going to come up with if already you are already thinking things like that, and you cannot ask them, you keep them to yourself, and you expose yourself when you are defending something else using these things? You say no, because the judge, because that guy could have been afraid and whatnot. I mean, already you are telling us that, okay, I'm not even going to think of that guy. I'll just give my ruling regardless of what that guy said. That sounds to me like you are doing that. And this father issue is worrisome. And the kid collaborated by the father. I mean, isn't that too biased? There could be personal issues here.
Yeah, there could
that
be family,
the family is settling scores. How can we take that and create a watertight case and say this is the case that? Why don't you go outside, find someone else to collaborate that?
Why has it to be a family affiliated type of thing? And you are hearing that there's denial coming from one aspect of the family, and this other one insists on knowing them just for the sake of the case, by the way. It's not like they were insisting throughout their lives to have formidable relationships with these people, right? It's just for the case, so that the case is a bit stronger for them and their testimony is stronger to just say, I know these people. I know. Do you really know them?
And this man goes to someone they suspect that could have leaked the information about them. And the very same day, there's an attempt in this man's life, as we're told. Le Shabane calls this man comes, right? The very same day, there's an attempt. So, obviously, Shabane is a suspect, allegedly. So, would you go to someone you suspect that is actually busy planning how you are going to depart this earth, and you still go to that person?
But he
with
did.
no fear whatsoever, and there is an attempt that day, and by grace of God, you survived.
I wouldn't. Any person scared for their lives that I know wouldn't, but he did. Okay, and also, let me put in a little bit of 2 cents of my speculation here. You know, watching how this judgment kind of unfolded, and Mr. Anonymous says you were busy unpacking your points there. It just made me realize that nothing is impossible with this case. How the events transpired in the morning, I'm still dizzy even now. I'm trying to make sense of how a judgment was already ready before the defense could make their arguments. So now I'm just seeing, and just before he made the ruling, he brought up points that were gonna support his ruling. And every now and again, we are seeing this interference of insisting on what was said or crafting it in a particular manner, which makes me question whether this is not aligning with a judgment that's already there.
See, my other worry is that this judge, as much as he's old, man, I admit he's an old man, but there are new cases post-apartheid.
There are.
Do you understand?
Yes, there are.
You cannot keep on bringing us old cases as if your library of whatever that you is only full of those cases. Those cases, some of them were even biased. One can argue that some of those cases were even biased because at the time there was a lot that was happening.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So you cannot keep on bringing such. Bring fresh cases, new cases, to show us that you are going with time, with your law. Well, you keep on bringing 1928 cases. What do you think was happening there? Any case against a certain person of obvious. Do you understand? So you keep on bringing that to support your cases. It's the very same issue that we were calling out with Gerinel. That issue of thinking that if certain people are involved, therefore, that's why he's quiet now. When we said it, for me, that's my assumption. He is quiet now because he's looking at what is unfolding.
He's waiting to see where he's going.
And I hear that many of you are submitting that, hey, bring a certain judge.
Yeah.
This is the problem I have. Exactly that problem. And when you think beyond what you are looking at right now, you see, here we can talk, we can say whatever that we want to say. If they bring whatever that you wanted, and that takes a certain decision that could have been taken by some rata somewhere, What are you going to say?
True, there's no.
I mean,
justice
all I'm
or
saying is that Gernel was 120% convinced that this is the case.
Yeah.
Do you
he
understand?
was. Yes.
It's such that he had to have differences with Fiso.
Yes.
Fiso went out. In his interviews, even telling you that he went out because he didn't believe. This man did not believe that what Fiso was submitting, that these are not people that are supposed to be arrested.
True.
These people don't have anything. They didn't do anything. Do you understand?
Yes.
But Gernel was hell-bent to be, hey, this is it. This is it. Baloyi has it. And Kinindi. And you can see him talking about him in the documentary. You know, he has 120% trust in these people. Do you understand?
Yes.
So, bring that judge. What do you think happens? This case is political. If this case, let me tell you why I'm worried about bringing a new person. If this case is lost now, do you understand? If this case is lost, that means Afro Forum told us the wrong story and they don't get the climax that they were looking for. Even the spokesperson that was talking about this case saying that this is what our advocate said. Do you remember?
It will look bad for them. And
he said the case is winding to that direction. Is winding to that direction. So my worry is how far could political forces go to sway such a case that is more politically affiliated? And I'm not saying that anyone can do that. And that's my worry. That is my worry. Now I see. We already have, one can argue that we could already have our own men of no color. Looking at the cases that are given here, 1928, 1952, 54. Do you understand?
Yeah.
1906. Those are old cases. And those are cases that you use when I would use when I want to make sure that come hell or high water, I rule against that whatever person that is. This is me. I'm just saying. I'm just looking at those things. Someone else could observe something different. You know, we must look at those. We still, as the public opinion, have the power of noise. Twitter, everyone else. Do you understand?
Yes.
And they are making noise.
There's
However they are, you do get clever blacks who come with their own narrative. And you do get those angry ones who are looking for conviction of these people because their families maybe had a problem with Nkabis and justified. So they are justified to do so.
Yeah.
To hate certain people. But we are looking for justice, Senzo. We are not looking to vindicate ourselves here. We are not looking to say that, my mother was shot at some point.
Life.
Yes.
We want to know who pulled that trigger that ended
The truth.
his life. That's all.
The truth.
This
So,
duck and diving.
if you take this case and say, I want to push it to this point, you can see the problem with our laws. De novo means you can start afresh and you can start with new lies, basically.
Yeah. You
So,
are not bound to
I'm not looking for
testified
that.
under oath.
I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking for that. I want to see that can we keep on making same mistakes. Today, the judgment that was uncalled for was made. And I saw some political, analyst
Yes.
who also called this thing
Legal
out.
analyst.
I want to see it if it's going to continue. I want to see if it's going to. Let us see consistency of this type of behavior, because that will prove that what is said about the judiciary could not be far from truth that we are seeing. If this is the case, if such a case that looks to have lot of loopholes. A judge can go in and patch those loopholes and make it look, I don't know how, because
Scary, man.
we are still not convinced.
That's some scary-ish.
So obviously, this case is only helped by the fact that we are in public.
We are watching.
We are watching. So how much more of those cases that are in closed doors?
Broadcast. Oh God, lawyers, especially defense attorneys, they go through a lot.
And obvious, this is helped by the fact that the defense is an independent defense from the usual state defense.
Mm-hmm.
If if it was otherwise, what would have happened?
I've heard of people saying that with a legal aid lawyer, they just tell you, you know what, take the plea.
So
just say you are guilty.
What
so
we
that
are
you can
looking
get
here,
this over and done with.
What we are looking at here is whether we do have what we call law or not. And I liked seeing it unfold. I'm not down because of it. I'm happy to see it unfold, because this is what many people are talking about.
True.
And we think that these people are crazy.
Right before us.
The mighty law, people should face the mighty law. Yeah, that's how we put it. Here's your mighty law. Let us see how it operates. Does it bite in the right way or just bites for the sake of closing the case? And that is something that we should look at. And we are watching for free. Remember, it's not easy to get these cases in South Africa, unlike in America. The ruling and whatnot, you have to go through putting your details there, even if you have to. And obviously, that is not even good, because now you can resurrect a case that is already closed. So that begs the question as to why are we not allowed to have these things freely on the internet, like other countries that are claiming to have democracy? What is it that this law of ours is hiding from? Why should you be known as the person who reviewed the case? We don't have crime stories here. We only hear from people who are from jail. We cannot take a case. You do take a case, you must go through all this process that is unnecessary. Gatekeeping, in a sense.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So, and that could leave your name. Why don't we have it in a public platform where we say, okay, we know if I want a case of so and so, once the case is done, I can go and pull that thing. It is because of such.
Like that in South Africa.
What we are watching now probably is one of the reasons.
You're gonna
and then you hear
shady
people
stuff.
standing here defending, this is the best. What?
Because I can imagine, as you perhaps been wrongly convicted and your mind comes back and you want to see what happened and you ask for the transcripts. Are you going to get them in South Africa? Do you get them?
A case that is supposed to be fair. A judge that is fair would have questioned as to where is the statement that this man asked for. We are about to finish this whole nitty-gritties of whereabouts of this person, but we are doing that without a statement. This man asked for a mere bank statement that he could have access to if he was outside. If he was not kept there, he could have had access to his statement. Because that statement could say otherwise, it's not there. And you tell me that this is the right procedure. We are moving. My lord, we can explain that. I did tell my learned friend that this what. Do you understand?
Sure.
It just worries.
Since last year November. I shame. Hey, so asked about the fact that he suspected Leshabani could be leaking information that was putting his life in danger. Zungu said yes, and he still went to his office, Ramasipili asked, with all those suspicions. He said yes. Ramasipili said, I will argue your version that you suspect Leshabani called killers on you and you still went to his office, and it's the same day that your life was threatened. Probabilities don't support your version. And the state objected that can only be left for argument. And the judge said,
no, he's not arguing. He's just he's putting it to you, not at your back like you were thinking Leshabane did. He's telling you, this is what I'm going to argue. Do you have any comment there? I'm just trying to suss some comment. If you do have a comment, just leave your comment here to defend yourself.
Well, the judge would not let that happen. And he said, you know what, is General Leshabane going to come and testify? And the state said, indeed, he is going to come and testify. So Ramasipele said, after an attempt on your life, you called accused number 1 because you say those people were relatives to him, and accused number 5. And Zungu said, yes. Ramasipele said, so you do escalate issues. Why didn't you tell Gininda? And Zungu said, I called him. Ramasipele then said, when? Zungu said, the same day. Ramasipele asked, that aspect that I'm hearing about for the first time. Then Ramasipele said, accused 1 will state again that you calling him about this incident, you did not call him to say he must stop talking to his relatives or stop his relatives from trying to kill you. And Zungu said he's lying. He also pointed to the photos of the album that the accused went under various circumstances. He says because the investigative officer wanted to know if he had knowledge of the accused. And then he mentioned that there was a Mamfundisi, a police sergeant Mohole, and the investigative officer Gininda. He does not know whether it was half a docket or what with regard to that photo album that he was shown or pictures of the accused that he was shown. Asked why not an ID parade but a photo album, Zungu said he wouldn't be in a position to answer that. There was also a statement taken when Zungu was asked to bring a person who could corroborate on whether he knew the accused or not. And this statement was done on the 17th of November 2019 at 16:25, and apparently it was a Sunday. So this is the statement of one of the people who identified or whose identities were withheld because of safety reasons, and no information of the person was typed. And the statement was also typed by not by Brigadier, but it was a mistake, a mishap. It was typed.
It was commissioned by Brigadier.
Commissioned by Brigadier Gininda. So it says, and I quote, in late 2017, I met Mbegiseni Ntanzi, who's my relative from the homelands in KwaNongoma. I met Mbegiseni in Durban at Kwamashu squatter camp. It was during the general discussion between myself and himself whereby he told me something shocking. He said to me there was once a fight or argument between his brother Mafiga and another Ntanzi brother in Sasol town in KwaNongoma. I don't recall what Mafiga was arguing with his brother about, according to Mbegiseni. Mbegiseni said in the argument he was told by the other Ntanzi brother that he won't fight with Mafiga, but he would rather report him to the police for the murder of Orlando Pirates keeper called Senzo Meyiwa back in Vosloorus. He further said he was told by the brother of Mafiga, not Mbegiseni, that Mafiga Ntanzi committed the murder with Muzis Bia, who is also from KwaNongoma. I further don't know the two mentioned suspects were staying in a hostel in Vosloorus during the time Senzo Meyiwa was killed. I further know Muzi had dreadlocks at a certain time. Now, Mr. Anonymous, do you remember that video we reviewed of MC Menzisto talking about how police were looking for a picture of dreadlocks from Muziaikalelwa Sibia, that is accused number 1? So he was the initial suspected dreadlock man. So now it's in the statement, but cut them. According to this statement and what this person saying that apparently Muzi had dreadlocks and he cut them after the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. Remember how MC Menzisto was saying the family told him that they were actually looking for a picture of him in dreadlocks and they didn't find him.
Yeah, this is a story that is untold of those people because they are not lawyers and because for some weird reasons, maybe the defense will call them, but basically it's a good thing that the state had to bring all their guns and put them in public.
So Senzo
And by
Meyiwa,
reading that statement, it's a good thing Ramasipedi did that. Because it can be said that later on the statement is not of use, my lord. We don't see any reason why we should pursue this line of statements. I think, my lord, we have gotten to a point where we have proven beyond reasonable doubt that this indeed is a relative. We do not need, in fact, even the accused themselves, they are saying that they are related, my lord. So we don't need that statement. So it's a good thing they put it on record, because it can happen that statement is not of any use.
so at this time, 2017 November, he also wrote this, and I quote, he's currently at KwaNongoma, and Mafika is currently working at a certain mine in Rustenburg. I'm aware that the two are also used as hitmen, and their ringleader is one Nkani Zungu of Sosota area from KwaNongoma. However, he's currently in jail. I have identified the photograph of Muzisbia to the police, and I was told by Mbekiseni as to why Muzisbia and Mafika killed Senzo after receiving this information. I decided to tell my son, who is a police officer in Johannesburg, about the above information. His name is Skhumbuzo Zungu. Subsequent to that, I was then informed by Skhumbuzo that we would then meet with the police at the head office, SAPS office in Pretoria. Indeed, the police, we met, and I disposed the above mentioned statement to Colonel Gininda, who was with Sergeant Mohali. I can identify Mafika to the police if I see him, but I don't have his photos. This is all I can see. So it seems like the father was in on it too, okay?
You see, to call it like that, it will be crime. Let me tell you what I thought when I heard this.
What did you think?
I thought when I heard this, the man that is on a stand now could be testifying for his father. Obviously, this is my opinion. I'm not saying that is the case. It looked to me like they chose, okay, this one is not going to be strong to stand and make this thing stick. Let's bring someone who's a police, because the son is denouncing now the statement. Also denouncing that he could have went with the father, but not by in many words, and saying that I did not take my father to meet. Do you understand?
Yes.
So this now looks like sitting down and choosing your team. Okay, this one, this one is not gonna stick.
So Ramasipili then concluded with his cross-examination. So now it was said by the state that the identity of the person who wrote the statement will not be revealed.
Can you imagine someone coming here and saying that people are guilty? But okay, let's continue. Let us continue. Let us think. This is for people who can just look. I mean, honestly speaking, in your right mind, these people kill Senzo, right?
Yes.
These 5 accused kill Senzo.
Yes.
These Nkabis, as they allegedly call them. And some of them, we have read their CV.
But remember that not all of them are.
No, it's fine. Okay. Let's say these other ones are 20. Okay. And then after that, they go back to where there's a police. And they celebrate in front of this police. They announce, "Hey guys, did you hear? Senzo is gone."
But who?
And then as that is happening, Mapiri is cleaning the house. I'm trying to paint the story here of Upepe. I'm trying to.
My beard is cleaning at that
My
time.
beard is cleaning the house. I don't want police to see that Senzo was drinking here. And then people in the house, they don't call.
They call Uncle
They
Temba.
call uncle. They
They don't call the police. They don't call the ambulance. They call Uncle Temba.
And then later on, we were told that, hey, there was even Bosbia there. Hawks. Big people.
Huge people.
And then they clarify themselves on
Netflix.
Netflix. Right?
Yes.
Now we are
But
hearing
when we
that.
got there, the scene was already compromised.
Do you understand? Now we are hearing that not only they were there, after being fired, they were chairing the meetings. You understand? And all that is happening, right? You know? These unknown people, these nobodies of Nongoma, they are involved. These people who just deal with whatever they do any day. It could have been someone who comes from Singa. We know Nkabis come anywhere in KZN, as Begitele has alluded before. I mean, come on, man. I mean, tell that story to your young kid. Like grade 10, sit down with him, tell him that story. Son, this is what happened if you have a son. And hear what he's going to say. A young kid. I'm trying to because you know sometimes it's tiring when
It's
people come with
exhausting.
an anger. Don't come in this case with an anger because you are going to come and just mushroom and not say anything. I mean, support your statements. No,
Support
you
them.
cannot. The person who's putting these people together, loopholes. The father was told by so and so. So is it? Look at this. The father, somewhere in KZN, is told the story where the son was.
Yeah.
Where the son was actually with those people in the house.
He's not even told. He's saying there was a fight that happened between Ntanzi and his brother.
Do you understand?
And as he was listening to this fight, it was said that, no, he says the brother came to him and narrated to him that because they are fighting, he's just going to go and tell the truth about what they did.
Out of anger. You know? Out of anger. Huh? So tell that story to your young kid and see if he's going to believe it. Do you understand? I mean, honestly speaking, we can be as angry as we want to be about these people being Gabis. But, I mean, are we?
It means the person who did this
goes free
goes free.
just because he's not labeled Nkabi.
Yeah.
Maybe let us
Yeah,
label that
yeah.
person Nkabi then, so that
Maybe
anger can.
Can go towards that person.
Do you understand?
Because we want to know who that person is. Okay, a lot of you are getting distracted. You no longer want to know. You're just saying, "Oh, these people are."
I'm tired
Oh,
of these people.
But they're already in jail and they're sitting there for
If you want
many years.
If you want to hear that, go listen to Gerinel. This is there on ENCA explaining how this thing is going to unfold.
Well, he says that he doesn't know whether his father knew or not. He says that he's surprised. He didn't know that his father also made a statement. Asked if he would know who came with him to Pretoria for the noting down of the statement. Zungu said all he knows is that he was set to bring his parent who can confirm that he grew up in Kwanongom. So he didn't want to state whether the father came or not.
But we know that the father went to some offices there to describe something, to define or describe, I don't know.
Well, lastly, let's tackle Mnisi's cross-examination. Mnisi asked if the witness has heard of perjury and if he knows what it is. And the judge said he doesn't know what perjury is. So what are we going to do? Again, However, we did not hear this from the witness. We heard it from the judge. And the court said that Mnisi must lay the basis. This is the judge, by the way, not even the court. The judge said Mnisi must lay the basis before he can ask a police officer what perjury means. And
you said just lay the basis thing, which does not make sense to me.
It doesn't.
Because now it's like, show me your cards.
Well, Mnisi laid the basis and said you've been investigating cases for 12 years. You've been in the police for 12 years. Do you know what perjury is? And Zungu said, yes, I know. He says he knows, my lord. This is Mnisi. What is perjury? And the judge said, no, you must lay a basis. If you are going to tell this witness A, B, C, D, E under cross-examination, under oath, he comes with an answer that perjures himself, but he has already perjured himself. Hasn't he already purged himself with statements that are contradictory to what his evidence in chief was saying?
As if that was not enough. He saw the guns, people carrying guns. He just treated them.
Himself.
He just treated them as if they were legal guns.
Some are saying they threw guns at the river right in front of him, and he's a police officer. Come on now.
The gun that shot someone, and then today we are finding out that person could have actually passed away allegedly.
Well, then that question is disallowed. Can you believe the judge said that? He said the question is disallowed. So as you can see that he's an illegally trained person, what do you expect to say? What do you expect him to say about perjury? What if he tells you that it is the death of someone else? What are you going to say?
And which he said at some point with arrogance, it's you.
It's you. He said later on, it's you. You, Mnisi, put up an argument though, but said, no, but my lord, those are answers that I'm expecting to come from the witness. Not the court takes over the answering of those questions on behalf of the witness. And the judge said, no, you can't ask this witness what perjury is before you've laid the foundation. Now, Mnisi to Zungu said, I'm asking you on the basis that you are a police officer. That's why I'm asking you what perjury is. So what is perjury? And Zungu said, I am here to testify as a police officer. Police officer is my work. What is perjury? Zungu said, I'm asking not to answer.
It seems as if he wanted to say, I'm not here to testify as a police officer.
Yes. Then maybe I will answer it in the way I understand it. Yeah. So at this point, I was like, thank you to the judge for this wonderful contribution in creating a very hostile witness. We watched this happen with Lorraine. We watched it happen with Ntogo, Tumelo, and Warrant Officer Mhlahlo, where when the judge starts doing this, they get more and more and more and more evasive. Then Nisi said, you can give me the answer of what perjury is. You can tell me perjury is a monkey. It's fine. And Zungu said, it's you. I don't know. The state objected, saying that let's move on. We don't see the sense of this cross-examination. Nisi argued that he's basing the question on the fact that the man is a police officer. He's not asking something that is out of the ordinary. He's asking something that is well within his knowledge of being a police officer. So he doesn't know what the basis of the objection is. And the judge looked down and gave no response. And Mnisi then says, so you don't have an answer to what perjury is, despite the fact that you said you know what perjury is. And Zungu said, yes. Mnisi said, is Gwabini still alive? And Zungu said, and kicking. Which one? I'm also Zungu. Gwabeni as I am Zungu. The judge said it's his salutation. So I'm like, okay, it looks like allegedly somebody might be watching us, Mr. Anonymous.
Don't bring this thing to us. Let's continue.
He never told this court that he's a Zungu stroke Gwabeni. And the judge asked Mnisi for his tagazelo. And then Mnisi said that is a very sacred. It doesn't just get said anywhere. And Mnisi said, the one who called you
I like that. I like that. Just learning to put this man in their place, because
Zungu said the one mentioned in the statement. So Mnisi said the one who called you. When last did you see him? And Zungu said, how was I supposed to see him? Now the attitude was really stinking, okay, and the judge was mute about it. And Nisi said, behave in a manner that accords with the decorum of the court. He said he can't recall when he last saw Gwabini. And would you agree with me that from the time you left the Basotho hostel, Gwabini is the centerpiece of your testimony? And Zungu said, yebo. Nisi said he thinks that the state will be calling Gwabini to come and testify. And Mr. Gwabini will come and testify and tell this court that he phoned you and requested you to come to the place because your homeboys will be coming. And Zungu said, will he be called by the state or by me? Zungu said he is hearing it from Nisi that they will call Gwabini, but he doesn't know. Nisi then said the same Mr. Gwabeni will come and tell this court that one particular point there are people, I don't want to mention their names, who got into this room and gave him 2 firearms.
No, Nisi here was just reading what he said. He was not saying the court will.
But look at how it dribbled him to a point where he doesn't even recall his own testimony. That to me was weird, that you would want to fight something that you said.
It is alleged for Harrison asking. It is alleged that Mepiri cleaned the house, as the defense would ask also some of those questions.
So Nisi then said, Gwabeni will come and tell this court that while you were in his room in the hostel, you asked him after he handed the 38 special firearm, you asked him if that was not the firearm which he said he threw away in the river after shooting at Sinako. Then Zungu said, I did ask him that.
That is throwing under the bus, under the truck now.
He will come and confirm that. And whether he will come or not, this is Zungu, I'll be happy to hear that. He then replied and said, this is not the same firearm. Zungu sounded unsure, you guys, as if he forgot the details of his statement. And he said, is that what he's going to say? And he said, are you asking me? And Zungu said, I'm hearing you say that is what he will say. I'm saying what you said in your statement about him. And Zungu said, if he's saying that, I'll say what I talked about with him. Nisi said regarding the statement that the court ruled to be non-existent, and the judge got all defensive, saying that he should not misquote the court. I like this, guys. This will throw shade, okay? He will throw it in and rub it in, and yes,
it's actually not even throwing shade. It's he highlights certain things in a smart way. What he was doing there was to throw the court under the bus, to say that these are the people that actually declined our request when we were asking for the original statement. It must be known.
Nisi then read a paragraph which the witness said,
and it's not only the state that can, or the judge that can say what Nisi said on behalf of Nisi without Nisi saying anything. He did it in the right way, doing what the judge does. He ruled on something that Nisi never said he wanted him to.
Yes. Then Nisi read a paragraph in which the witness said the names of the accused were misplaced in reference to the people he'd been walking to Gwabeni's room around 9 p.m. The judge testified on behalf of Zungu again, saying that Zungu was asked and he would refer to his statement and then he would relate. Okay, the very same statement that he ruled to be non-existent, the written one. He's saying that the typist lady typed. And is this how it happened, sir? And Zungu said, yes, I was talking and the typer was typing. The brigadier was interviewing me and the other one was typing. So as you know, they did not know who Mafika was. I had to tell them who Mafika is. As the lady was typing, you said Ngani instead of Carlos. And he said, I said Gadla. Don't get lost, Mnisi. Wow, I was like, don't get lost. Nisi then said, yes, Gadla, I'm not getting lost. Now, how did that name Kani Fisoguhle Ntuli get there? And Zungu said, I wouldn't know because as I spoke, she was typing. Then you say my piece and Carlos Mtobisi Ngube, it was supposed to say Nkani, walked in and sat on the bed. Where did she get this name, Carlos Mtobisi Ngube? Where did it come from? And Zungu said, you want me to respond or you want me to listen? Then Nisi said, here's my question. You say Mtogozi sent my PC with Carlos sat on the bed. And Zungu said, I said Nkani, accused number 4 walked in. Accused 1, 2, and 3 were already there. Nisi said, so according to you, it was supposed to be my Mapisa and Nkani walked in and sat on the bed. For the third time, you mention here that Mapisa and Carlos Mtobisi Ngube walked in and sat on the bed. Then Zungu said, Mr. Mnisi, I see you like playing. I see where you want to take me, and I don't want to go there. I did explain that the names got mixed up. I see where you want to take me, but I'm not going there because the name I was referring to was Gadla and not Carlos. So is he not aware that Carlos and Gadla is literally talking about accused number 3? So the lady typing, was she privy to the investigation of the case? Asked Mnisi. And Zungu said, I didn't know who the investigation team was. The only person I knew was Brigadier Kininda. So Zungu maintained that the mixed up names do not change his testimony. Did Mr. Kwabini tell you what the occasion was about? And Zungu said he didn't tell me. He just told me that they were my brothers and homeboys. And I also wanted to know why I was invited. Then Nisi got a choking, like, you know, guys, the ones I usually get sometimes when I'm live. He got one of those. It's like spit went into the wrong pipe or something like that. I always get them. Our regulars. That's why I have this bottle in front of me and I'm always drinking water. So Zungu laughed at this moment when that happened and he said, yeah, yamnyisa. Meaning, what does it mean in English, Mr. Anonymous? Help me out. Yamnyisa.
I think serves him right or something like that.
Serves him right or something like that. But he was being mean and spiteful. And the interpreter was even shocked that ha. Then he asked for a 5-minute adjournment to get some water. But turns out the time was already nigh adjournment for the day. So that's how court ended. It was pretty awkward. But then hearing that witness become like that.
There is something to learn for law students. When things get tough, you move like that. Since the judge decided to say this is a typist, and let us move with that typist. So the typist is playing the story for. I like this, man. He's a shark. Let us give people 2-3 people to call.
Yeah, let's open the lines. Guys, you can now call in. I'm done. Today
it is alleged. Everything that was said is alleged.
Everything is alleged. Even the channel name at this point is alleged, okay? And when you call in, if you are speaking allegations, state that they are.
Thank you, guys. Okay, I hope we delivered. I hope we delivered for you. Let's hear this one if it's not long.
Hi, Mr. Anonymous. Hello, Emily.
Hi.
Veiws here from Free State.
Hi, Veiws.
Start.
Yo. Inhliziyo yami ibuhlungu hearing this judge. The way he treats the defense.
Right. All those people, they just had to catch you. Ntanzi, hello. Ntanzi, hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah. Ngiyaphila unjani?
Siyaphila.
Yebo. Yes. Kunento lapha engicahayo ubuka icala lelo ukuthetha kwalo. The judge is profusely sweating. The judge is profusely sweating. Yebo, ngiyakuzwa. The judge is profusely sweating and is using his hands, pointing as if is fighting. Why should a judge demeanor be like that? I do watch ukuthetha kwamacala, but this thing is mind-boggling. He's using his hands. Why? He's menacing towards the defense. Why? Lastly, he says, I'll be there even for the 2 years.
He said that, yes.
I've never seen this thing. What is the law society of South Africa saying concerning such conduct of an impartial man? Oh no, judge, step down. I remember allegedly fees must fall. Now judge must fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, we hear.
Ngiyabonga.
Thank you.
Ngiyabonga.
Thank you.
One. I think you heard everything. You know when someone gets in and speak in Zulu first, I get puzzled because now I have to translate. But a good thing is that he just went into George.
Ulimuga George, that's English.
Yeah. Let's wait for someone else. The judge knows the truth, but just like Tifo, he cannot control his temper. The judge knows the truth. How?
As for knowing the truth,
How would the judge know the truth?
more like allegedly he has a judgment already.
Oh, you mean the judgment? Oh, the judgment, yeah. He could
Maybe
have.
that's what you mean.
But if it was Nisi who said, Yamisa, the judge, no, Nisi is capable of dealing with these things. I'm not worried about him. Maybe I'll be worried with Ngomalo, Ramsipe. Nisi is capable of dealing with
But
these
even
issues.
Ramasipeli is putting up a fight.
Yeah, now he's...
I'm loving it.
Yeah, now is I mean, you respect up to a certain point. I mean, you only respect people
If you
that
can
respect
piss
you.
off Ramasipeli, you are the problem. Ramasipeli is
Let alone, hey, he wrote his judgment yesterday before he can even hear, or we can even hear that the notes or the statement is not there. He has already jotted down his judgment. He said himself he did it yesterday. Icon.
He's a corporate man, sorry. You know, corporate, you must be proactive. Mzansi, hello.
Hello.
Yes, how are you? Right. It's a reconnect. Guys, today it was a long day. Let me take this call. I know this one, I never go wrong with it.
No, let's take a call and finish that recording.
Zanzi, hello.
Yebo sanibona Mr Anonymous no Emily.
Yebo sabona.
Njani?
Sikhona njani?
Sikhona nathi. Intombi yomZulu le ngithangiphawule kancane namhla. Ngithi mina ngizwa uZungu la ebala indaba yobaba. Ngase ngithi ake ngihlehle kancane ngiyokobaba. Uma ngikhumbula kahle ku-Newsroom Africa ku-YouTube mhla 1 August 2022 ukhona abaya ubokamuzi nakubo kaNtanzi. Ubaba kaNtanzi uma ekhuluma uthi wafika namaphoyisa ngaya kuyena emotweni umuzi ngakhuluma naye kwenze njani mntana wathi bangibophile baba bathibula lesona ebhankwenzana baqale bathi kumina angicindezele labafana ngathi mina angeke ngikwazi ngoba ngazenza bathi bazomnikeza u100,000 nganqaba baba base bayangishaya bathi angivumi ukuthi lento ngenzi ngokuvikela impilo yami baba ngakwenza lokho ngazivuma istatement so mina ke ngokwami allegedly ngithi mina uZungu seyaqhamuka wenza into eshiwo ubaba ngonyaka odlule ucindezela abafana lento eyishiwo allegedly ngicela nonke Mr Anonymous no Emily ngicela abantu ebahlehle baye ku YouTube bayobheka abazali baka Ntanzi no accused number 1 ukuthi ubaba ubaba ka accused number 1 uthi uma beyizwa lento bazobona lento eyenziwa uZungu njengoba injalo iyona uyisho lase kodwa yenzeka manje allegedly ngiyabona
Amen. You wanna thank you.
Thank you. Quickly translating. She says she's hearing about Zungu talking about the fathers, and she remembered the newsroom Africa interview that happened on the August the 1st, 2022 last year, where they went to Ntanzi and Muzi's homes, right? And they interviewed their parents there and they talked to them. And their father for Ntanzi said that they arrived with the police. In fact, at the time that they came, they had said to him that he needed to point out the others, and he said that he refused, and they offered him 100,000 rands, and he said that they said that he must agree, right? He must agree, otherwise he had to save his life. So he said he saved his life by actually agreeing that he did the crime because he didn't take the money. And then Zungu was still using that interview in his testimony did I hear correctly, Mr. Anonymous?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that
I'll
he's
go
using
back
the
and
aspect.
watch.
Yeah, I also need to go back and watch that interview. We did watch it. We did even talk about it. But I think now we need to go back to it because what she just raised here is important. And she says that she recommends that everyone who's watching, go back to that interview. There's actually some of the things that are called.
We have to warn you, it is conducted in Zulu.
But I think they put up the translations, did they not? I think they put up the subtitles on it, I'm not sure. But it is in Zulu, most of it, yes.
I'm sorry for it. Look, man, these people are in jail. I don't know what your point here is. You're talking about accused number 1, and I'm sorry, man. I don't normally do this, but you're busy dealing with accused number 1. I don't know whether you're a robot or what. Just clarify yourself. You say they are lying. Where are you getting that information? These days they are robot that pushes certain
and you
narrative.
think Zungu is telling the truth? Wow, amazing.
Zanzi, hello.
Mr. Anonymous, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm okay. I want to touch on two things, man. The first thing is what the judge said today in his judgment.
Yes.
He said that he doesn't think that Baloyi could risk his career.
Yes.
So the judgment was on feelings, not on the facts presented. But when you say you think, can you make a judgment about thinking? That one, it thrown me out of this thing because it looks like every judgment that this judge is going to give will be based on feelings, not the facts presented. Because what Muniz said was very simple in his argument. And the judge, was the judge coming to submit his head of argument, or the judge was going to listen to Baloyi and listen to the defense and make a judgment? That's the other thing that I didn't understand. It looked like the judge was giving his own narration, because he was not judging based on what Baloyi has said and what Muniz and the others said. He was bringing his own version. See, because he heard Baloyi, he argued, and his argument was very incorrect. He was not even arguing on what was presented last week Friday.
Yes.
Because Muniz said, this witness, we did not know that there's a statement presented. There's a right-hand statement. But this witness said it under oath that he initialed in each and every page. He at the end he signed, and it didn't end by signing. It was commissioned. When the statement is commissioned, it exists.
Yes, yes.
Well, if he said, I signed and it ended there, we're going to say it's a note. But when you say it was commissioned, the statement exists. So the judge comes today and say that statement, that note that we're referring to, that this guy said, doesn't exist. Because he asked him a simple two questions. Did you write a statement? The guy said no. Why didn't you ask him, what did you say on Friday? To ascertain whether on Friday he lied under oath, or today he's lying under oath, to establish that, and so that they can evaluate it correctly, to say, you said this on Friday, today you are saying this. So me as a judge, I'm saying this. But he's defending him in this whole thing. That's why I have a problem with this. But it's fine. As Ms. Anonymous has said, that we don't need a new judge. We need this judge to control this work. And I know that these guys say they're going to be jailed. But the nice thing about it, the whole country knows the truth.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We can see the truth. We can see it. I don't know. Doesn't feel good though, but we can see what's going on.
Guys, let us subscribe. Just like the video. Yeah. No, you know why I this platform, guys, is for submitting. So if you are going to come with a narrative, support your narrative. You know, don't come here and keep on posting 120 times that they are guilty. They are guilty. Now we start looking at you as a robot, most if you're like that.
You're like a bot.
You're like a robot. You know, come here and say, because of 1, 2, 3, I'm saying. That's what we're doing, right?
Yes. Yes.
Submit.
Yeah, it was
Submit.
Very interesting what happened
Don't
in
guilt trip
Portugal.
us. Submit your statement or call and submit and say, because of 1, 2, 3. You see that loophole. Accused number 2 said 1, 2, 3. Accused number 3 said 1, 2, 3. Therefore.
Support your argument.
So support your argument. Because
just say
we see this thing on SABC 1, you know, they are guilty. They are not guilty. They are guilty. They are not guilty. We are not doing that here. We opened the line for that. We even the platform of comments. Comment. Zanzi, hello.
Hello, how are you?
We are good, sir. How are you?
Fine. I just want to comment as well. I've been listening, and it's so scary, this thing of a judge. I think the judge is becoming Sangoma now, the way that he does things. Because how can you prepare something that is going to catch today, tomorrow? How can now, because Mr. Anonymous always predicts that something that is going to come tomorrow. Sometimes he gets it, sometimes he doesn't get it.
Yes.
Because now I was very, very worried. As much as I work with the court as well, and I understand the procedures of the court. Being a judge, the judge there is the only person that doesn't have all these types of documents. According, even the docket, he doesn't have to have it because his judgment must be very, very sober and clear-minded, not being affected by any such document. Okay? For me, allegedly, it gives me that there is a conversation between a judge and Mr. Baloyi after the court proceedings. As far as I am thinking, allegedly. Because how would he, because he even stated out of his was that judge, for me, that too much information that he has, and also the experience that he has always showing off, you see, and trying. And if you could see, Mr. Anonymous, after the judge has done this thing of trying to be all over to the defenses, then those jokes, the people of the court were no longer taking. If you could see after that judgment, because he would say, I'm prepared. You will be sorry. I've done this during the night, and people could have laughed because it's kind of joke that he always does. The people were not entertained because I couldn't understand how would he know that there will be a something like this which will come up between the defense and the statement that the witness has been already mentioned that on the what you call recording, because even Mshololo mentioned that to the judge that this we asked and can it be played. She couldn't even. She says no. I understand. She didn't even want to. For me, it seems that she knew it before because maybe Baloyi sits down and sees that hey, this will be caught here. So how are we going to handle this? You see. So I couldn't understand because that thing of saying the what you call he understood, meaning that he understood that the witness is having a statement which has been what you call a high initialed and commissioned. To commission, it means that as a police official, you come to me, you do an affidavit, I commission it. If you say that you lost it, it was existing. You lost it because I, as a commissioner, would say that I commissioned it. You see. So for my submission is that there is a problem that we are getting now from the judge. Number one. Number two, I like what Mr. is doing. He is therefore there is a little bit of therefore there, and I like that. But he's coming slowly but nicely. You see, and surely. Because now, if you check, I wish he could have, but although according to his way of he narrates in the decorum of the court, trying to show what actually transpired to that discrepancy of that what you call I would say allegedly because it's been approved by court that we should accept that statement that's a typed one. He mentioned that Mr. that okay, as you were typing this, okay, I wanted to say sorry, Mr. Anonymous. I wanted to say I wish he could have put it in this way. If Emily, you are talking, Mr. Anonymous, as you can see, you are talking, and Emily is typing, right? I would accept if Emily, you are not there now, you left the notes, and Emily was typing the notes, and he typed something on the notes. He captured something from. I would understand that, and it's better. The only best, Emily, you will agree with me, is when Mr. Anonymous is saying out louder, not by written statement of Mr. Anonymous, to where you can catch everything properly because it comes straight from Mr. Anonymous, then he types directly. But if you look, sometimes you're looking at the let's say for instance, the three paragraphs of what Mr. Anonymous has written, then you were in the first paragraph, the second paragraph. Now when you look, the third paragraph is almost likely the same, like you pick the word that is same like where you were looking, then the eyes now focus on the third paragraph while you are in the second paragraph. Then you can recite something that is on the second paragraph, on the third paragraph to the second paragraph. So, but my explanation is, my submission is that it is better when somebody is talking to type correct than when you look at something that has been written, because this guy was not given the typist the notes, as he said that it's the notes or the statement. The statement, there was this guy who was talking, and then after he's asking, and he's not asking the typist, he's asking the witness that, is it Ngube? And then the what we would say, young Ngube walked in. Then the typist should focus to the person who is saying not to the Kinanda or those names because it's been corrected. What's called the judge has been corrected of mispronouncing the name. It's lost as who is, because he is making the same mistake that is being done by the judge, but no one is correcting. But all I'm sorry guys to be long. All I'm submitting is that I don't understand the judge, and I'm glad what Miss is doing is straight on the point.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You.
Yes.
All right.
Right. Let me read this. Morning, my love. One's is from Manchester. We are in serious problem in country. Our law only works when the poor are the ones who are suspects. I am shocked. I do not know what to say about anymore. I'm just looking and see where it goes, because this country and its law is not made sure. It is not. Right, guys, I think, to be fair to me, I would like to bow out, and if we stepped on each other's foot, that's what this is supposed to be, because it's a court. It's also our kangaroo court. So in court, there will be Rata, there will be Maumela, there will be Baloyi, there will be Mnis.
Yes, and
So
Mshololo.
and Mshololo and Ngumalo and Ramsipil. And at some point there will be some Tifo. The spirit of Tifo keeps on rising. Yes. So yeah, definitely. But here, guys, it's a platform that is free. If you have an opinion, and we have had differed with people, we have differed with. Eventually,
right?
we have agreed with, as he always calls. Now you say these people are lying. At some point, Kwelesehliga was disagreeing with everything that you said, but now we are agreeing, and that's the point. If you come with your view, bring it. Don't fear. Don't come like sideways, like you're a robot. You're pushing this. You know, comments are like a mind. If you keep on saying Kaizer Chiefs will win, Kaizer Chiefs will win, Kaizer Chiefs will win, people think Kaizer Chiefs is capable of winning. But I'm just making a wrong example. But I know that my friends from Kaizer Chiefs will hate me for this. But what I'm trying to say is that let us be free. It's time for calls. Call, and you have a different view. I mean, we even had someone here who was saying, what if someone has told you this story, by the way, that is unfolding now? What if someone has just said, confessed to you? We accepted it. We did accept it.
Yes, there was a call a couple of months ago.
Zanzi, hello. Last call.
Hey, Sambona.
Yebo.
Njani?
How's your peel?
Last Friday ngimlo ngayivala ngathi mina nginenkinga nejaji ngoba ukhuluma kakhulu umbono wami. But namuhla ngijabulisa ngokuthi wavela ukuthi ijaji iqedile ngalabafana. Buka le judgment uthi yena yonke lesithathu prepare ngomsonto.
Yep.
But usathuma umuntu ukuthi ayobuya nempendulo already yena impendulo seunayo. Before lo muntu abuye ukuthi le nto ngithume yona yini. But already the scripture says that usenze ngesonto before Monday. So ngilento lento ukuthi le muntu iqedile ngalabafana ngombono wami. Namuhla bengiqala kuva ujaji lo wangale kubona Ndipha makakhuluma namuhla. If bebaphikisana lamaloya i-state nama-disclosed bakaphikisana bodwa, but namuhla ngiqala ukubona lento. But ngala solo ijaji selakhuluma right, bengifuna ukuzisa lokho ukuthi ijaji yonke into uyaba idependa la bonke labathi fire kuphela akanandaba nabo ntanzi senza njani.
Yes, mfowethu.
So ngiyabonga ngithi ngifuna ukuzisa lo phakathi. Yeah.
You called it. Yeah, thank you. Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you called it. I remember your voice. Here's the submission by SBEP. Now we see that this is not a robot. This is a person.
Okay.
they lied about knowing Vosloorus. Is there anywhere they denied that?
I don't recall.
Okay. Ntanzi was refused a bail. He was not at work.
Of course, he was not at work. He was on unpaid leave.
Said they did not know each other. What do you say about intimidating witness? Say they did not know each other.
Well, they did say they did not know each other.
Some of them.
Yes. Not
but
like
Ntanzi and Spear.
He doesn't know them. He only knows Spear.
Spear, yes. And then let me see. What do you say about intimidating the witness?
What intimidation? You mean that one on Friday?
Yeah.
He was talking to accused number 4. How? So that one is an inkabi, that one. So I don't understand what is the argument?
Is intimidating the
What
witness.
is the argument?
Is intimidating the witness.
Well, he's denying it. What do you say about that? He's denying that he was intimidating.
There's no audio there to prove beyond reason. You see what let me put it like this. What sticks in court is what we are hearing now, right? So what you thought might be the case, like the issue of Ntanzi. Ntanzi is saying that yes, I worked, and it's true he was working, but it took an unpaid leave to deal with issues there by KZN. Hence, is looking for his bank statement. That is not forthcoming, by the way. Wepepe, that statement is not forthcoming.
They're not waiting.
In terms of lying about Vosloorus, these people, some of them, they even say 2013 I stayed in Vosloorus. In fact, I was staying in Besotho.
When was that?
Who lied about Vosloorus, by the way? That's why I'm confused. You see, the problem is...
Maybe you haven't been following.
No, I think what happens is when someone keeps on saying, oh, and then the last thing it says, for your channel to grow, allow opinions.
We've allowed your opinion.
We have allowed your opinions. We are reading it now. Because now it's an opinion. It's not saying that accused number 1 must tell the truth. You know, that's not an opinion. That's you submitting your assertion.
Yes,
that you don't have.
We've analyzed.
We have just looked at your comment, and we are looking at it right now. We are telling you, like, give us where they are saying they don't know Vosloorus. Dan's refused bail. He was not at work.
No, he did not refuse bail.
He did not refuse bail. He was refused bail
twice.
He was denied bail
twice
by those after pointing. The pointing of that happened is
of Tumelo and Lorraine.
You see what you did. Yeah, then he was denied bail.
That performance.
Sort of denied bail. Twice. He hasn't done bail since de novo. And then they said they did not know. We've submitted 2 that knew each other. Who's the uncle of someone there?
I don't know.
There's someone who's an uncle to someone.
No, they said that Mncube knows accused number 5's uncle. So accused number 3 knows or was residing with accused number 5's uncle. That's as far as we know. However, they denied. Well, I wouldn't speak for accused number 3 and accused number 5.
And by the way,
what I do know is that accused number 2 denies knowing accused number 3, 4, and 5.
By the way, the age allows them to deny that because where we come from, we don't associate with old people like that. Some of them, they are older than the others. These 2, Ntanzi, and they are younger.
And by the way, just before his bail was denied, who's accused number 2, they asked for the bank statement. In fact, it was done by Titi Tobani. And still to this day, those bank statements have not yet been subpoenaed. We are still waiting.
Yes. So I think we have dealt with your issue.
Yeah.
So Go do your more research and come back and submit more. Don't agree with our theory.
No, you don't
do your research and submit more.
Yeah.
To convince us,
though.
you know.
You are still rough around the edges. You need to research.
So research and then come back and then we will argue with you. Mzansi, hello.
Yes, hello and good evening. How are you, sir?
We're all right, sir. How are you doing?
No, fine, thanks. I just wanted to share my my very short views, and particularly around the judge. And then I'll move to another issue quickly.
Okay.
I think for me, the something that again you guys might not be seeing is the fact that someone said it again that the judge is sweating profusely. Ask yourself why, and here is the answer. Allegedly, you are brought from retirement at the age of 70, because judges retire after 70, and nobody tells you that hey, you've just hit or been put in the middle of a perfect storm. Because you see, the people who say the judge has information, no, that's not so. The judge is learning some of these things as we are all learning about some of these things and some of the most crucial things. And this judge realizes that hey, this is a perfect storm, because this thing you can now see, it was set somewhere in the middle of KwaZulu-Natal or somewhere. It's been brought to KZN, and yesterday was a perfect example when someone said there was a letter that was written. Sorry, there was a statement that was read, which allude to some fight between two factions, if I can call them factions, and that fight, and that's how this policeman then gets brought in, because his brother or his cousin fought with the other ntanzi, etc., etc., etc. Now, if you fast forward, the judge had hoped that the defense, and I'm sitting on the defense, that the defense would have wrapped this thing by now. But the guys have, and we all agreed at some point, the guys have been a bit inept. There have been at least three occasions where these guys should have wrapped it, whether by making certain applications, and I think it's 2 applications that have counted, or in fact where the judge says to Ngumalo, Mr. Ngumalo, you said you are going to argue. And Ngumalo says, no, Judge, I've done what I wanted the court to hear. But that at that point, here is what is going to be a problem. Mr. Baloyi is a snake when it comes to, not a snake, he's a master when it comes to arguing. He's going to eat them alive. The judge is trying to kill this thing in court. All of them, almost all of them are wanting to push this thing to argument. And they haven't studied Baloyi. He's a master at argument. And that's why they lose it if they are not careful and they don't win it in open court. That's just my humble opinion. Watch the case. The guys sometimes, they sleep on the job, even when the judge says to them, guys, hey, wake up, here is something. And I think maybe what happens is he gets annoyed. And yes, I agree. I think we are now starting to see the side of the judge that no one would have anticipated. In fact, yesterday, I found myself hoping for Mahumelo to get better. But I agree, as Mr. Anonymous say, it would drag the case a lot if that were to happen. But I do think that the guys need to wrap this thing in open court. If they don't, they are going to lose it in argument. Ask anybody who knows anything about Baloyi. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents worth. Thank you.
Thank you.
I heard Baloyi argue today. I read everything that he was arguing on today. I heard his head of argument. I wouldn't be scared of him. I'm sorry, but yeah, he's got experience and whatnot. His arguments were just out. I can bring them if people want, but his arguments were just out. No, I did. I wrote everything, Emil. When he was
what
talking.
I heard is more like the judge was the defense attorney for Baloyi. That's all.
Do you
I
understand?
heard.
That sounded. You see,
Even what Baloyi, I tried covering it at the beginning, you guys. I'm sure you heard.
If you say the argument of a judge, I would agree that was a solid one, even though it was not at the right place, but it was a solid one with those old cases. Baloyi. The accused is not laying the claims to any of the police docket, but so basically he was saying that they don't have the docket, they don't have that statement, and then he argued, he even put section 35(3) of the Constitution. It states that every accused, he was sort of cleaning himself in a sense to me, saying that everyone deserves to have the fact that is when they're unprepared without referencing anything
or any prior case.
And I think you should also research Mnis.
I should, ne?
And look, do not undermine Mshololo also. And I'll tell you why.
Why?
He has played for both sides. He has played for both sides.
Even Mnis.
Even Mnis was a prosecutor also.
Yes.
So those two, there's a reason why people get agitated when they're speaking. They seem so relaxed. It's like we've got this. Judge is making noise. But my lord, what I wanted to say was. And the two young ones, not young ones, Ramsipet is old. But all I'm saying is that they are learning from they rely on these two. They rely on these two. Yeah, he can put my lord and whatnot and good English,
It's
but
the English.
it's the English, man. Let us not be confused by the vet's English. That's an English.
It's the English that's making your
yeah, English, yes.
But
other than that,
argument wise.
Other than that, you put him. Let me say. You put him. You see people like I've had people like Boska Khan.
Mm-hmm.
You see, those people can argue.
Mm-hmm.
Those people they can literally teach you. When you listen to them, you feel like you're in a class. They are more diverse. Those people, they can. Baloyi, no, I'm not taking him for granted. But look,
for me,
I would like, in fact, now I would like to see that case go there. My bet is on Mnis.
For me, it's the underground work when it comes to Baloyi. That for me, it's not so much his arguments in court.
No, I listened to it. I listened to Baloyi arguing. I listened to him. I was like, okay, yeah, there and thereabout. I mean, obviously, you argue in a different judge of different color. You would be happy that you could hear more of what he's saying. Like, my lord, we feel that, and stuff like that. Okay. But arguments, the basis of the arguments, that's for me, that is what counts. And today there was no basis of the arguments. He was all over.
Yes.
He did not know whether he was arguing for a statement that is commissioned, or he was arguing for the notes.
But we wish.
And he was.
The judge knew the topic of argument.
And he was prepared. This was a prepared speech.
He was.
It even had a heading, I mean.
He was prepared.
It had a heading. What was the heading?
He was prepared, you guys. He was. He even had cases that he quoted in his. I'm like, how did you prepare? Because there's nothing that you were supposed to prepare
He caught the state versus Shabalala.
Mm-hmm.
those cases were dealing with witnesses. That's what he said.
Yes.
And on that one, and then the other case is a state versus Rowan, 2009, I think, volume 2, where a document is position of where the state is in possession of the nodes or whatsoever, and then he went on to close by saying sometimes they can deny access on these nodes and whatnot, which is what echoing what the judge was actually gonna say, saying that they are not entitled to these nodes. And he argued in terms of nodes, memorandum and whatnot, and they said this is not what we are here for. We are not arguing for memorandum here. We want
the original statement
that this man has said.
He handwritten and initialed every page.
And then he brought the issues of the notebook that the police carried.
Pocket book.
And that was it.
That was it. Yeah, it was.
That's why I was...
The summary.
Yeah, guys, thank you very much for the contribution. Love you. Thank you for all that contributed. To see, the last caller was different in thinking to us, and we do accept that.
We listen.
That's all we want. It's a bye from me.